Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, where we're going to be taking on the Girded for Freedom Cosmos quest in the Fran character event that's just come out. And yeah, I'm going to be tackling this one with a team of Layle, Vayne and Serah, with a Quistis support and a Pandemonium summon. You know what's coming. Alright, so real talk, the first time that I played this quest, I went in with a team I think of like Vayne, Zac and Serah, with a Vayne friend support and a Bahamut summon, because I was like, I'll do damage, all the damage. And I was doing all the damage until the bosses used their frame buffs, and then there was no damage, and I was asking where the hell did my damage go? And I just quit because there was no point. Vayne was hitting like a wet noodle, like I wasn't doing anything. Serah couldn't even cap out on her Brave when she used Wound Plus, and I'm just like, yeah, ain't nobody got time to sit there and grind through that nonsense. Especially because I don't think I even used my summon at that point, and I'm like, yeah, there's no point in that now, so fuck it. Let's try it another way. So, in my opinion, there are two ways, well, there are three ways to tackle this quest with a decent score. There is buff up to high hell past the point at which their defense buffs cease to matter, which is something that I did with Sephiroth, Serah and Ashe, and I do intend to put up a video with those, because I don't have Ashe's EX, I haven't actually pulled for it, and I don't think I'm even going to pull for it, but they were quite a fun team to use. There is bring a Dispeller along, which is obviously why Balthier is synergy on this event, and why he's been reworked. He actually does pretty damn well with his rework. He obviously does better with his EX+, but you know, as far as 35 CP characters go, he's quite fun to play with. I always did like Balthier's buff stealing mechanics. It's just a pity that most of the time bosses don't really use buffs, or the ones they do use are invisible. All the visible ones they use are not worth stealing anyway, so it's kind of like, you know, why can't I steal a unique framed max brave attack buff instead of like a freaking obnoxious defense buff that the bosses always put up so you don't do any friggin' damage? So yeah, Balthier is pretty fun in Heretics, especially for that reason, when you get a bunch of framed buffs and you can stack them on Balthier. But that doesn't come until like way later on in the Chaos era. And then the third way of dealing with them is delay them to high hell so they never have a chance to use the buffs in the first place. And yeah, why not bring some launch source along with it? Because I mean, I pulled for Layle's EX and I got it, so I might as well get some use out of the guy. To be honest, like, now that launch isn't like as super crucial as it was before, and it's actually not even the most optimal strategy now, although I think it is if you want the highest scores still. But he's actually really fun to use, and I think Layle EX has a tendency to be pretty underrated, because it's like, okay, you know, Layle 35 CP has had his time in the sun, you know, now is the era of monsters like Vayne and Zac and Serah and sort of reworked Wall and Noctis and stuff, but Layle can still do some pretty fun things. Especially if you can capitalize on it. So that's why I'm bringing the Quistis friend along. In fact, you know what? I won't even bring a Quistis friend. I don't think we'll need the friend. I'd need a 3-turn Quistis. What about this one? We've got some good artifacts in here. We've got some board mastery. We've got good enough. It'll do. So I actually only want a 3-turn Quistis, because I used a friend Quistis, but then I kind of found that, well, she doesn't really need to apply the slow, because Layle does that, and the damage that she does in her turns, like Vayne could just do more, like with, you know, he could just do more. So I'm going to bring, I'll just get her delays out of the way and her battery during the summon, and then Vayne will come back in and it will all be Gucci. That's the plan. So, without further ado, let's get going. I just realised I forgot to show everyone's artifacts. I'll have to make a mental note to do that at the end of the video. I rarely ever do that when I say that. I know I don't, but I will try and remember this time. Emphasis on try. So yeah, let's get the wound. Let's get Serah's unique buff up with wound. To be honest, with Layle, I am just going to field burst, just to use the skill. Like, the only reason I'm using field burst there is just so like his EX will charge faster, because obviously if you use skills, then it charges the EX faster than if you don't use it. Then we get the Moonlight buffs up. Okay, so this wave, this freaking eyeball dick is really annoying, because if you HP attack it and fail to kill it, then it will use an attack on you, and basically you'll get paralyzed or you'll get cursed and you'll lose a lot of stats, and it's just horrible. So we're not going to deal with that. So I'm going to use Macwave here on this one. I'm actually going to just use a HP plus over here. Am I going to use a HP plus? No, you know what? I want to get his EX up faster. Let's use an energy gain. I hope I don't regret this. All the launches. Always and forever. We get an overkill as well, so that'll be good for the points. And to be honest, wound will be good enough. We've already got everyone's buffs up. But I should have probably used a Moonlight there, because I'm also going to use a wound here because of the splash damage. In fact, wound is like Serah's best AoE splash damage skill, so yeah, I definitely shouldn't have used it on that lone eyeball there. I'm just so used to using it because I use Moonlight all the goddamn time. Whatever. Force of Will. Do I have double Mighty Force of Will, like, 2 stars on him? Or do I just have the 1? I don't know, I can't remember. So Layle still doesn't have his EX yet, which is incredibly unfortunate, but we've just twatted this thing with a lot of hits. I'm gonna push its turn back. Now he has his EX up. Okay. So I'm absolutely going to Moonlight here on this guy. And he's probably... oh, he does recover from break. That's really good, actually. I'm actually just going to use Pummel to save on skills, which may or may not have been a good idea. And by that I mean it almost certainly was not. Except it was, because we killed the bird. Okay, my calculations are a little bit off. So yeah, okay, I was kind of afraid of this. Vayne gets his free turns with these dicks, like, that are in play. So I'm going to use Pummel. And then Pummel again, and everyone gets a launch, because why not? That's just Layle's EX aura doing what it does. And here I will use regular Tree of Sephiroth. So we get more Conquest power stacks and hopefully kill these two things. Yeah, there we go. You can use the EX on them, that's no problem. It's just if you use like Macwave on them, because they resist physical damage, you're gonna have a bad time, you know? So here, I definitely want to use Wounds Plus on them to get the debuffs up and to start with the poison. In fact, I will use the EX. Let's see how much damage this does. A lot better than I thought, actually. And it does debuff both of them, which is nice. Okay, and now here is where I am going to not swap out for Quistis, but I am going to use Macwave on this one over here, and then I'm going to take this turn to set up Field Burst on these two things, and I'm going to use Moonlight so that when Vayne comes back he's actually going to be attack buffed. But here is where I am actually going to swap out for Quistis, and we are going to start Launch Fever. So yeah, because we've gone into Pandemonium, like we can just do a launch on like basically anything, because you know it doubles the amount of chase HP damage that everything does, and the initial attack also does quite a lot. So at the moment, like even without Layle, or rather we do need Layle's EX aura, but basically like every attack is going to launch. Every second attack will launch. and that's discounting energy gain, and that's discounting Gay Borg and all the rest. So yeah, it's pretty sexy. And with Pandemonium's passive, of course, applying that 15% bonus damage to every attack during the launch. Come on, you all remember how this works from the launch meta, surely. So yeah, we're just gonna pop the Gay Borg. It's just halfway decent damage as a result of us having stuck the things with force. And so now we're going to use Moonlight over on... Actually, no, we're not going to use Moonlight over on that one. We are going to let Quistis do that. I'm going to use Wound because you see Serah's unique buff is about to wear off. So actually, because every 2 attacks will launch, if I launch on this one, like I can use Wound over here and then Quistis will launch B. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's how good Pandemonium is. So I'm going to Brave attack with Layle, just so he'll have that much more Brave to dump into the next launch. So yeah, there we go. B will get launched. I'm going to HP attack with Serah, because next turn, like, Layle gets a turn, and we need to push A back. And I just Brave attacked there because we would kind of give more battery to everyone. But I mean, that was actually kind of a stupid thing to do because her EX is up, so we definitely want to use that. Yeah, always go for those Moonlights when you can. When you see that an enemy's ready to get launched. That's just, it's just open season, you know? So B's just got launched, so of course we're going to launch B again, because we'll hit A as well, so that should hopefully set A up. It's just kind of managing the launches, yeah? So Serah's getting the next turn, so I'm going to Brave attack with her again. I can't afford to Brave attack with Quistis just in case she, just in case we can't launch on this next turn. But of course we can. It's Gay Borg. What am I thinking? Whatever. It doesn't have to be 100% completely perfect. Okay, so here is where we. This is where I am going to use Force of Will with... Actually, I am going to break this one. Even though it was the closest to recovery. Full AoE damage. Make sure to get as much turn advantage as we can here. Doesn't really matter which one we target. So Vayne's about to take a load of turns. If we do wounds, do we get... No, we have to use Moonlight here, because Vayne's just about to do what he does. And Serah's also about to do what she does. So if we launch it... No, let's do it this way. Ah, god damn it. Can't really avoid the break there, unfortunately. But what I can totally do here is use Sephiroth to get a force of will back, so I can break A. There we go. Beautiful. And that just about does that. So yeah, those things think they've got aerial supremacy. We showed them that Layle is the true king of the skies. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's gonna do it for that one. To be honest, that is the fewest amount of turns I've been able to clear it using this team, and possibly any team. And yet I get a lower score than I got the first time, despite the fact that on the first time I had 41 turns and I had 3 breaks. So I'm not going to attempt to understand how or why that happened. Like, the only thing that it could be is overkills, like, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. But, you know, whatever. Still, I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed doing it. So, that being said, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, see ya.